So, tonight at 8 p.m., I'm going to be, going through the first side A of Never Say Uncle from 1990. This is my very first solo acoustic release. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I came to these songs or how they came to me. I'm going to play Pocketbook, Newspaper Blankets, The Kids Are Out of Hand, Like Nobody Else, My Apartment, Last Drunk, and Don't Try and Understand tonight. I'll talk a little bit about writing them and some other stories. So stay tuned, folks. Looking forward to seeing you tonight here on Wednesday Night Live.
You might want to go back and listen to this man's music because it is absolutely unique. He's making his 8th appearance on the Mountain stage. Started way back in 1991 when he was only a child, and since then he's made quite a few records. He lives over in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and went to school right here in Morgantown at West Virginia University. He's been drunk in this town many a night.
Well, it's great to be here. I'm told that this is my... It's being disputed, and but I believe it's my 11th time on the Mountain stage. And I hear that I'm getting a cape for my... with my initials. Yeah, they're going to give me a cape. I figure if I say it on the radio... That was fun. That was so much fun. Well, you're probably asking yourself, where can I get this man's music? I'm talking to the people out there in radio and podcast land. Do you live in Alaska? I would like to visit you. I will bring these songs to you. Don't let the luxury and the legend of Mountain Stage fool you. I will play on your couch. Call me up. So, many years ago, my first dog. Let me tell you about my first dog. I like to name my dogs after TV show characters. So in the 70s, I had a dog. His name was Columbo. Did I say his name? Actually, her name was Columbo. Columbo was a basset hound. A few years later, I had a dog named Floyd, after the barber. He used to fumble his tie and interrupt himself. Just watch it, you'll know what I mean. Watch it, rewatch it. So then the next dog. The dog was a Weimaraner. And my wife and I, we were discussing what to name the dog, you know. And she says, we're not going to name this dog after a television character. Which bummed me out. I had Barney lined up, you know. So I started thinking, what can we name this dog? You know, what can we name this dog? And I thought, I said, Roger. How about Roger? And my wife said, we're not going to name our dog after Roger Miller, which eliminated Miller, which was my next name. And that's still out there. I still think it's good, and if you use it, send me a line.
So we landed on the Weimaraner. We landed on Luigi somehow. I can't even remember how Luigi came up, you know. We thought German bird dog and an Italian name. That was just weird enough to please us both. But, you know, when you're calling a dog in to eat or whatever, you don't use more than one syllable. So when I would call him in to eat, I would, "Hey, Lou!" So I got my Mary Tyler Moore in there. But so Lou, he was with us for over a decade. Luigi, he was a good dog. He died on the first day of spring. He passed away on the first day of spring. So building characters. Last year there was this radio evangelist. His name's Harold Camping, and Harold Camping predicted that last year on May 11th, the world would end. You remember that? It didn't. It didn't end. And then he decided it was October 11th. Anyway, I have a song about the October thing, and you'll have to get the CD to hear that one. But this song. I started thinking, you know, a lot of these folks, they literally quit their jobs, they sold their worldly possessions, and to get the word out that the world was going to end. And then when it didn't, I started thinking about what it would be like to be disappointed that the world did not end. So here it is, this song's called "The Never Ending End," a letter to Harold Camping from a believer. All right. Good times. Well, so the next song here that I'm going to do, my final one, is off Building Characters, is about this guy who he freaked out that his Jesus nightlight had gone out in his bedroom. So he went to Big Lots and, well, basically he bought enough Jesus nightlights to plug into every receptacle in his house. I know you've all been there. The song goes exactly like this on an evening exactly like this evening. You ready, guys? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Billy Matheny here is a two-time Golden Horseshoe champion. Billy Matheny. Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming to my gig. This song, I'm going to do this one song that this is part of a group of us songwriters. We get together at the Court Street Grill once a year. Anybody ever been there? Court Street Grill. And we put together this Twisted Holiday songwriter special for Jackie there at the Court Street Grill. And back in 2009, I did a song called Mary Crystal Methmas. And that put me where I am today. And last year, had this idea, actually my wife had this idea that there weren't very many Christmas songs about Joseph, as in, you know, the Joseph. And I started thinking about Joseph and how insecure I would have been about the situation, you know. And who would I go to for help? Well, thanks. Here's another song off that record album. And this song's called I Believe This, I Believe. And this is a song that when my mom first heard it, and she she didn't ask me after the show. She emailed me and she said, "Send me the lyrics to that song." And I got the feeling that they bothered her some. And so I thought, I'm on to something. Well, thanks. Well, this song, I dedicate this song to Mountain Stage. This song is a good song to dedicate to Mountain Stage. Yeah, this show's been an inspiration for me for years as a listener, and a real boost to what I do. And let's hear it for Mountain Stage and the crew, the amazing crew. And of course, the band up here helping me out. Bob Thompson, a few people know that Bob Thompson is also a piano player.
From Parkersburg, West Virginia, Mr. Todd Burge right there. Building Characters is the name of the new CD.
So it's true. I have a pocketbook. Here's my pocketbook from, I don't know, probably the early 70s. And I think that probably my grandma or grandpa Kimball gave this to me. Let's see what's in there. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good evening. There we go. Start out with a $2 bill in my pocketbook. Lost all my money but a $2 bill. $2 bill, oh, $2 bill. What else we got in here? So when I was a kid, I filled the pocketbook full of what I thought were rare coins, but I believe they're just Canadian. Anyway, some Canadian coinage. There might be something valuable in here, but to me, when you're 5 or 6, anything that was in your pocketbook was valuable. And anything, right? I could live in a paper bag filled with nothing but some air, and my dreams would still be in it as long as I breathe in there. My hands have only touched a new guitar lucky even when they're cold. I feel nice, but I was mean when younger. Don't have a lot, but I don't have hunger. I got a pocketbook with something in it. I changed my mind, now there's something in it. I clear my throat, now I can sing it. I've got a pocketbook with something in it. I met you once, but I forgot your name. I lost the napkin with your number on it. Let's start this whole thing over again. I've done a few things wrong, but I'm a whole lot stronger from it. My hands have only touched a new guitar, and they've played it till it has turned old. They've never seen dirt or blood. I feel real lucky even when they're cold. I feel nice, but I was mean when younger. Don't have a lot, but I don't have hunger. Oh, no. I got a pocketbook with something in it. I changed my mind, now there's something in it. I clear my throat, now I can sing it. I've got a pocketbook with something in it. Oh, that's Pocketbook. So, hello to everybody. I noticed one of the. I'm glad you can hear me. The one comment here that concerns me the most is Dolly Lewis says sound ? Is everybody hearing me okay? I hear myself okay, and so tell me if you're hearing okay. If you guys are hearing me okay, just say we got it. Hopefully Dolly can figure out what's going on there. Right on, Jim. Good to see you, Jim. Dolly, Cassandra from Cincinnati, and Mom's here. Say hi to Mom and Mittens, the cat. And Brother Max and Susan Lynn. Super excited about the show. Thank you, Brother Max. And Dad. Say hi to Dad in Kentucky. And who else? Rick Cross, man. Thank you so much. Sean Wolf and others. I know that Michael's here. Mike Ratcliffe from McConnellsville. And so many more. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was Pocketbook. And really, that is probably the most positive song that I wrote. Most of this music was written in the late 80s. Maybe a couple of these songs are written as early as 86, but this was my first real guitar. I mean, I had a K guitar that was kind of like a nylon string, kind of a junky thing. But this is an Alvarez. I wrote all these songs on this, by the way, that you're about to hear. This is an Alvarez built in 1982. It was a 60th anniversary model. Has a little plaque on the back of it. I got this at Powell and Clark Music in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And, oops, excuse me there. I'm trying to get you to see the plate, but I don't think I can get the camera to pick it up. You can see the plate, but you probably can't read it. Anyway, I think it was this guitar. This guitar is the 43rd one made. and it served me well. It's funny that Pocketbook was about, I mentioned I've only played hands have only touched a new guitar and played it till it has turned old. But the irony is, this Alvarez looks even newer than my 2000 Taylor. If you want to look a closer look at the 2000 Taylor that I've played for the last 20 years, basically, I've played this guitar. It's been through the it's been through the ringer. So I'm going to put it back on. Can you tell the difference? Oh, and hi to Bill White. I saw Bill White in there earlier. It's great to see you all here. So Pocketbook basically was just a lot of people asked me, thought it was a strange song title, which I think that's great, because the stranger the song title, if people are asking me a lot of questions through the years, that means they're paying attention, right? And maybe I've written something that's not very common. But where did this all start? I was playing rock and roll music in Morgantown, and with a band called the Larrys, and then eventually I played in a band called 63 Eyes. You can see the album back here, 63 Eyes Looking for Mothman. And I was really playing, not really paying, I liked acoustic music, I liked acoustic country music, but I was playing mostly rock and roll. But I always wanted to play acoustic. I wrote all my songs on an acoustic guitar. But let me, bear with me here. I'm just going to lay the groundwork here for you, maybe give you an idea where this album's coming from. I'm in this book here. This is put out by WVU Press in 2018. Travis Steimling, Songwriting in Contemporary West Virginia. There's a chapter on Larry Gross and Ron Soul and many others. John Lilly, I believe, is in here. Lots of fine men and women, contemporary songwriters. But let's lay the groundwork on Never Say Uncle here. Well, once again, I'm doing just half of Never Say Uncle tonight. Going to talk about the songs just a little bit. And then next week I'll do the second half of it, talk about those songs. And then on March 13th, I'm going to do the whole album in its entirety. I've never done that before. I'm going to play it all out. And it's a special Saturday show, Saturday the 13th at 8 o'clock. And hopefully, spread the word. I'd love to see you all here and maybe some new folks. Okay, so this is Songwriting in Contemporary West Virginia interview that I did with Travis Steimling, a fine writer and musician there in Morgantown, professor. Upon graduating from Parkersburg High in 1982, Burge moved to Morgantown to pursue studies in psychology and English. There he entered a community of fans and musicians that thrived in a vibrant music scene fueled by the energy of the punk rock movement. I was going to the Underground Railroad, which became a famous music venue. They would have people like Timothy Leary come speak, and Abby Hoffman came and spoke too. And they had Bo Diddley play there, and the Dead Kennedys, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and on and on and on. It was very eclectic, very liberal. It was an amazing thing that was happening in Morgantown at that time, and it continues now, I should say. Along with the Underground Railroad, West Virginia University's campus radio station U92 played a key role in supporting the local music scene. U92 had just started, Burge recalled, that's me. So we had this really tapped into national scene club there, and you had a pretty powerful signal for a radio station and serious people behind it there at WVU. They might argue with this, but I, as a Parkersburg person going in and listening to U92, I was learning what I could consider pre-formatted radio. Maybe there was a format there. I was missing it because it was so formatted here in Parkersburg and elsewhere around the planet Earth, as far as I know. Okay, so here's just one little thing, and now I'm going to move on here. But particularly exciting for Burge was the ability to hear local bands on the radio. Right on. I remember watching this band called Gene Pool, which was a Morgantown local band, play some songs, and I was really into it. And they had this song called Pilots Are Melting. I remember the melody. I haven't heard it for years, but I remember just being turned on by that tune. And the next day, I'm driving, and Pilots Are Melting came on United 2, and it just blew me away because local bands didn't get airplay as far as I knew where I came from here in Parkersburg. I didn't know that even happened. It was mind altering and mind expanding being on that Morgantown scene. So anyway, I'm watching acoustic artists come in. I'm watching rock. I'm playing rock and roll. I'm in basically heavy driving rock bands and punk bands, and I'm watching all this hardcore. And also there are some really influential women in my life who are running the Underground Railroad there in Morgantown, and seeing people like Timothy Leary and whoever else, Abby Hoffman, and it was just a real melting pot. And around the time, and I started getting turned on to Bob Dylan around this time too, in the late '80s. My friend Jim Clinton had this book, and I read it and was blown away by Bob Dylan. He's behind me here too, but and so mixing that with punk rock and that whole attitude that was around me. Really influences this acoustic album that I did, this first acoustic album. I was writing so much too that the band, there was a lot of songs that just didn't fit in the band. These more lyrical, some of these songs just wouldn't fit stylistically in what we were doing. But the next song's called Newspaper Blankets, and I remember reading the Wall Street Journal at the library there in Morgantown, and I think it came out in the fall of '88. I had some notes there. It was the Wall Street Journal, and it was an article about poverty in West Virginia, and they mentioned in the article Ella Mae Kripe was 80 years last fall. She had half a dozen pictures of Jesus on her wall, and they went on to describe that she had trash out front, and she had lived there for 25 years, and she'd probably pass away there. And anyway, it was, of course, this being in the late '80s, it was a rough time. West Virginia's always had some rough times, but anyway, that's where this song came from. Newspaper Blankets, folks. Way up in our hills, they don't know pills, they don't have highways, cars, or bars getting in their way. In summertime, the only green they find, it's in the trees. They don't have dollar bills, so they can't know how to pay. And Ella Mae Kripe was 80 years this fall. She has half a dozen pictures of Jesus on the wall. They've got brothers sleeping on asphalt with newspaper blankets. We've forgotten what warmth is. We only care or help when they're little kids, but hey, they're old and lazy. They need to be hid. Think we have the right to store satellites in the desert while our neighbors sleep without a bite to eat tonight. I want $50 for combat boots, 50 more for a few toots, and maybe some dinner with my dessert tonight. And Ella May cried was 80 years this fall. She has half a dozen pictures of her sons on the wall. They've got sisters sleeping on asphalt with newspaper blankets. They've forgotten what warmth is. We only care or help right around Christmas, but hey, they're old and lazy. They need to be hid. Take Ella May Crichton, hide her. Take the pictures and hide them too. Newspaper blankets. Hey, I'm just reading a few comments. Great to see you, Kurt there. Cooter's Pub. Thank you, man. I'll try not to read through those. I love the comments. I read through them all after the show, of course. And thank you so much for sharing and the tips too. I appreciate the tips. They've kept me going through COVID. Believe me. Thanks, Mike. Thank you so much. So here's one. Speaking of this, the women who influenced me, Michelle Wolford would be a big influence. After it's a long story, and I won't tell it here, but the Marcia Ferber, who originally owned the Underground Railroad there in Morgantown, she came from Brooklyn and she came to West Virginia and she started that club, and she was a real inspiration. She basically came up missing. And I can't remember what year it was, but Michelle Wolford, who had worked there and booked the bands for the venue, she took it over with some friends there, and she became one of my closest, dearest friends. She's no longer with us either. I miss her tremendously, but this next song, I'm not real sure. I know that Michelle's the person that turned me on to John Prine. And I was really trying to kind of write that type song. This song has no basis in fact for me. People worried about me after they heard me play this. I played it recently, and people were worried about my past and all that. But this is, for me, this is total fiction. And but I'll tell you where I got the idea. And back, if you listen to Never Say Uncle, I did not use these type picks, but this was, I dreamed of using these type picks on this song. This is really the way kind of I imagined it, and years later I was able to play it the way I imagined it. But around the time that I was writing this song, within a few years anyway, Lyle Lovett came out, and there's that song, how's it go? If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, I'd ride it on my boat. I don't know how to play it. And we could all together, you know the song, right? Maybe you don't. Anyway, that style of guitar. It wasn't until years later I saw Tim O'Brien doing it at a workshop, playing Kelly Joe's Shoes. He called it shorten and bread style. And I thought, I'm going to have to learn how to do that. And I spent a couple of years figuring it out. And it really changed my guitar playing for the better, I think. But anyway, now I can do this next song, The Kids Are Getting Out of Hand, the way I kind of heard it in my mind. And this was really my first solid story song, I believe. and it takes a C harmonica for you, for those of you playing along. Here we go. Sam and Carrie, at the end of 52, got very married, one in white and one in blue. And Carrie carried one baby times two. They knew they'd be happy being 2 times 2. Two babies came, one boy and one girl. I don't remember both names, but the girl, she was a real pearl. Now Pearl threw fits, she threw a little bit of food. And Sam assured Carrie he could throw a few things too. And he said, the kids are getting out of hand, I'm gonna whack them with the backhand. And they'll understand when on their cheek 2 solid weeks is the red and blue knot, 'cause Daddy forgot to take off his wedding band. I used my left hand, forgot the wedding band. I hope they understand. I remember now, the boy's name was Ted, but his friends all called him by his nickname instead. Now, Cal wasn't big, he just ate a whole lot of beef. And at only 6 years old, he was out there playing in the streets. Now, Carrie caught Cal and his best friend Dave. They were staying up late and pretending to behave. Jumping on the beds, they broke another lamp. Well, she was fed to her neck, so she went and she told Sam. And he said, oh, the kids are getting out of hand, I'm gonna whack them with a backhand. And they'll understand when on their cheek for 2 solid weeks is the red and blue knot, 'cause Daddy forgot to take off his wedding band. I used my left hand, forgot the wedding band. Hope they understand. Now Cal grew up, he became wedding bound. Pearl grew too, but she never ever stayed around town. Pearl never ever talked to her mom, but between dad and son there was some sort of strange male bond. It was Monday night football, tape for Tuesday afternoon. Dad got hot that fall, he went up like a hot air balloon. Daddy got steamed about his son's favorite team, but a brutal dream made old Cal turn mean. And he said, hey Pop, I think you're getting out of hand, I'm gonna whack you with a backhand. And you'll understand when on your cheek for 2 solid weeks is a red and blue knot, 'cause your son forgot to take off his wedding band. I used my left hand, just like my old man. Man, I hope you understand. Oh, yeah. The kids are getting out of hand. So here's just a, you know, as a young man, I I had romance in my life, and I had romance out of my life. Rinse and repeat. So this next song is just like a real miserable song about a hard breakup, and a person that the narrator is not willing to admit it. Like nobody else. When you've done this for as long as I've had, for decades, I guess now, so this album's 31 years old now, I feel like I'm playing, sometimes I feel like I'm closer to these songs than any others, and then other times I feel like I'm playing cover songs, or I couldn't write a song like this now. I mean, I could fake it. I might fool you. I don't know. And you know I still need you like the earth needs the sun. But I'm so far away, you know it keeps me on the run. Can you feel my heart of stone? There's never ever a ring on my telephone. Silence is the tone when you're all alone. Another glimpse of your face puts me in my place. What do you hide when our four eyes collide? Tell me, what do you hide? And you will grow old just like everybody else, and you will get lonely just like everybody else, and I will still need you just like nobody else, like nobody else, like nobody else, nobody else. And my roof seems to cave in as I wonder where you've been. When you don't paint love's walls, its ceiling surely falls. And when I pick at your mind, the haze is all I can find. This terror on my list should evaporate in your mist. Sunshine makes me cold, no warmth makes me old. My needs seem to fold when there's no you to hold. There's never you there to hold. And you will grow old just like everybody else. And you will get lonely just like everybody else. And I will still need you just like nobody else, like nobody else, like nobody else, like nobody else. Wow, that's like nobody else. Thank you so much. So there's the album. Thanks for the tips, folks. Thank you so much. Once again, these shows are free, but if you would like to tip, that's what's getting us musicians, that's what's getting us through COVID. And we really appreciate it. Looking forward to live shows resuming, but until then, we'll do this. And I might continue to do this afterwards. I quite like doing the live shows. So I don't believe I'll stop doing these live streams, but I'll be out there on the road again one day. Yeah, Jerry said, I know all the words of these songs backwards and forwards. So some of the lyrics I've just changed through the years. You probably have caught those. And then, I blanked a couple times, but I didn't fall too far. So this song is called My Apartment. Let me clear this off. That's the album. I'm doing the first half of Never Say Uncle tonight. And anyway, if you'd like to tip me, that's great. If you'd like to get the album, I should mention this. So last year, the plan was to do Never Say Uncle a few times out there on the road, and I remastered the album. It sounds phenomenal. And I put it out on CD, just a limited number. I only have a few hundred of them. But if you go to toddburge.com, it's pretty easy to find there. And or I'll put a link on there right now, and in the thread that take you directly to Never Say Uncle. I'll sign it for you if you'd like me to, and I'd love for you to have this. It sounds like it did when I was sitting in the studio listening to it back at the first time when I had it remastered. I was so thrilled to have it remastered. Let's see. You should see a link there for Never Say Uncle. Okay, so onward. So this song is called My Apartment, and it really does have this weird. I mentioned this on a short video I made today. It has this weird. I don't know. I don't think I have any other song that I play the right hand like this. For you guitar heads out there, it's based on coming up first, which is kind of counterintuitive. I don't know how I got to it. Usually you'd play a blues song. This is kind of a 12-bar type song, like downstrokes mostly. But the first thing I'm doing is going up. If I think about it too much, I can't do it. But it's really odd, and every once in a while when I think I'm going to play that song, I have to relearn that weirdness in my right hand. It was all just most of my music has all been kind of accidental. It wasn't like I was trying to get a groove that was in my head or whatever. It just kind of like accidentally happened, and I went with it. That's pretty much my career's been based on that. Patsy Ann, good to see you. Good to see you. Anyway, my apartment. So, hey, I lived in a few apartments in Morgantown and in other places, but this particular song came from an apartment I had on Coburn Avenue in Morgantown. It might have been my third year when I was at WVU, and I was single. I didn't want to be, but I was, so I got my own apartment, and I was quite miserable. Quite miserable, which is good for songs, I guess. But if you can function as a human being and be miserable, sometimes good songs come from that. But anyway, my friend Scott Fetty, who was a drummer, a pal from Parkersburg here, he was in a band called Velez Manifesto. But he needed a place to stay. He was on Don Knotts Boulevard there. And I don't know, his lease was out or whatever. And my apartment really was not big enough for Scott to move in. He had a mattress, and he brought boxes of dirty dishes. He didn't. Scott might hear of this, but he really did. He brought his dishes. I remember helping him unpack his dishes, and they were dirty. But before Scott came to the apartment, I remember Jim Clinton coming to visit me with the Larrys, Wes Poole and Mark Poole and Jim. They came over to my place, and we were partying or whatever. And I had one picture on the wall of that apartment. And I had one fork, one spoon, one plate, one pot, one picture, like I said. I remember Jim Clinton thinking that was I would at least put 2 pictures in my apartment. But anyway, that was it. And then Scott would sleep in the living room area there and he would take his mattress and stuff it in the closet. This song idea came to me from that experience. My apartment has an old couch. My apartment has a chair. My apartment has an old coat hanging on a coat hanger over there. It's a mailbox that I open. It gets deeper and darker every day. Hey, I think I'll have this place rented out. I'll hide inside and somebody else can come and stay. They'll pay the rent and stay with me in their apartment. My apartment has this TV tray staring at me the same old way. It holds my paper plates the same old way while I watch those morons play Wheel of Fortune every day. What an unfortunate game. I think I'll have this place rented out. I'll hide inside and somebody else can come and stay. They'll pay the rent and stay with me in their apartment. Na 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 na. My apartment has this thing I turn on and it plays old Larry King. I hear him say some similar things about some not so similar things. Some fat guy's pushing a book and he's telling me how to cook, or some good looking guy I can't even see is telling me how to buy his look. Come pay the rent and stay with me, yeah. Come pay the rent and stay with me in your apartment. apartment, my apartment. Okay, so now we're on to. I made little notes about what I wanted to say about these songs. This is really an imagined song too. I mean, I did my share of. Well, I don't know if I did do my share. I was going to say I did my share of partying. If you listen to the Larry Gross introduced me on Mountain Stage there in Morgantown on my Mountain Stage album, he said something about me waking up drunk on the streets many a night in Morgantown. That's not true. I mean, the joke is funny, but because he knows it's not true. But so I don't know that I did do my share of partying. Maybe I should catch up somehow. But anyway, this is another song, probably same kind of like. This kind of takes a relationship song into a darker place than it could be, and I don't really remember the kernel of thought when I wrote this, but I know that it came easy. I know that it came really easy. This song's called "Last Drunk." Maybe I'll play it here. I'm trying to decide where I want to play this. Did I go out of sequence? Somebody said, "Don't try and understand." Don't try and understand. That was really clever. I get it now. Okay. You won't be up when I leave this house in the morning. The early hours, they come, they go, when those minutes tick away, you just don't know me. We just must leave all these things behind. Wise up, dry up, and start to use our time. Everything that I own is in this trunk. I'll kiss her cheek for good luck. That was our last drunk. You say we don't smoke or snort the stuff we don't run towards, the dreaded needle. Maybe we do drink a bit too much, but it's fun, and I believe that you and I are just that kind of people. There's two people that I try to like, but I despise them almost every night. Everything that I am is in this trunk. I'll kiss her cheek for good luck. That was our last drum. That was our last drum. Last night was our last drum. Hey, thank you so much. Richard. Hi, Richard. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you here. Thank you so much. Hi, Debbie. Hey, Connie. Thanks, Connie. Thanks, Wayne. So here's the last one for tonight. Don't try to understand why. But next week I'll do the second half of the album. And it's next week also on Saturday, a special show. It's still a free show. Just want you to know that I'm not doing the paywall thing that's out there. That I could stop. I want you guys to be able to see it, whether you can pay a ticket or not. So the 13th, Saturday the 13th, I'm going to do the whole album in its entirety. Here's my mason jar. It's my tip jar. If you want to hit that, the links are with this video somewhere in there. If you can't find them, I'll send them to you. Thank you, Van. Thank you, Cooter. Cooter's Pub. Or if you want to put something in my pocketbook, well, it's called a tip jar too. But that was my commercial. But really, I'd like to see you pick up the album, because I have these albums that I made for the 30th anniversary last year, and they're remastered and they're wonderful at toddburge.com. Okay, that's enough of that. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Oh, by the way, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, do you mind me saying? I don't know. Somebody in our family got a COVID shot today. We're real happy about it. It could be somebody that's watching. I'm looking forward to getting mine, that's for sure. Anyway, this song it came straight from me listening to The Cure, and you would never know it by listening to my song here. They think it's like a Cure song, but Just Like Heaven, the Cure song, Just Like Heaven. So if you think of that, if you know that song really well, you can probably see where I was thinking about the lyrics of that song, and this came to me, and it's really a song about letting everyone just be themselves, So thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks, everybody. And I'm distracted by Jeff's comments here. So here it is. Don't try and understand. next week I'll see you with the rest. Oh, let me tell you what I'm doing next week. Next week we'll go over these songs. Actually, Daddy's Not Working, College Down, Daughter Ask Father, which eventually became a 63I song, all wrapped up, a song that I wrote after I'll tell you next week. It's a special song. My Book has another real life story to it. Still Wanting You, which was the final song on Never Say Uncle was the very first acoustic song I ever recorded in the studio. But for some reason it's last, but maybe one of the more popular songs on there, Still Wanting You. That'll be next week, folks. Next week. That's next week. Said, you think if I break my watch we could forget what time it is? And I said, I'm sure it would grant us much more room to move as smoothly as we please. Could you show me that trick you make with your hands, the one that sends me laughing down to my knees? And take the batteries from the watch so we can forget how long we're being missed. You don't have to wash your hands, and you don't have to care if your face is clean. I like you with those holes in the knees of your jeans. And when it comes to who I am, don't try and understand. Said, you think you have the right to write all your thoughts down on paper? I said, when I get tired I write it all down, but I don't mean to frown and throw it in your face. Next few words that came out of her mouth made my mind wonder if those lines had been heard in her. But I just can't seem to make up things, and I feel it's my place to play from place to place. Your hands, and you don't have to care if your face is clean. I like you with those holes in the knees of your jeans. And when it comes to who I am, don't try and understand. Try and understand. Don't try understand. Show me. Hey, thank you so much for supporting what I love to do. Because of you, I can continue to do it. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Really do appreciate you. I hope to see you here next week. Jump on toddburge.com and check out those albums, and if you'd like to have the CD, I'll sign it for you and send it your way. I'd love for you to hear this remastered version of Never Say Uncle. Oh, yeah, that's right. I played Never Say Uncle up at the old Bogarts, didn't I? That's right. I forgot all about that. Jeff knows. Jeff knows. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thanks so much. Thanks, Brother Max. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, John Shepard. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Have a great evening. And until next time, we'll see you next Wednesday, okay? Tell your pals I'm playing Never Say Uncle in its entirety on March 13th, Saturday at 8 p.m., okay? Love to see you all there. Thanks a lot. Love you guys. Love you guys.